Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari is to offer amnesty to militants in the oil-rich Niger Delta to try and halt their attacks on the country's oil industry. CCTV's Kelechi Emekalam has more.
President Buhari was giving a televised address to mark his first year in office. He can certainly point to the success against ISIL-affiliated Boko Haram, but the Niger Delta is fast becoming his biggest headache. A group calling itself the Niger Delta Avengers has carried out a string of attacks on oil installations. That's to try and push for a bigger share of Nigeria's oil wealth. The attacks have slashed oil production to its lowest level in 20 years, seriously threatening the economy. Buhari's already sent troops into the Niger Delta with no obvious signs of success, so he's trying a carrot and stick approach.
I believe the way forward is to take a sustainable approach to address the issues that affect the Niger Delta communities. Re-engineering the amnesty programs is an example of this. The recent spate of attacks by militants disrupting oil and power installations will not distract us from engaging leaders in the region in addressing Niger Delta problems. If the militants and vandals are testing our resolve, they are much mistaken. We shall apprehend the perpetrators and their sponsors and bring them to justice.
The previous government had stopped attacks on the oil industry by offering amnesty and payments to militants. Buhari had wanted to end that program in 2018 to save money. He says he also plans to hold talks with community leaders in the region. Kelechi Emekalam, CCTV Abuja, Nigeria.
Right, so let's get you more on that story now. I'm joined live from Lagos by CCTV's Deji Badmas. Deji, we understand some communities in the Niger Delta are accusing the army of raids. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, Penina, what we've seen overnight is that we've seen increased military activity in the Niger Delta. Indeed, the military has actually established a very strong presence now in some areas in this place called Baramatu. Baramatu is in Delta State. Delta State, of course, in the south of Nigeria. Now, that is supposed to be the hometown of an ex-militant who has been declared wanted by Nigerian authorities. And overnight, we've also seen the military has confirmed that it exchanged fire with a group of militants now in Bayelsa State, also in the south of the country. The military confirming that some militants were killed and that some were arrested. And just before yesterday, about 10 suspected members of the Niger Delta Avengers were also arrested. They've been paraded, but the military has still not confirmed that, that these people are indeed members of the Niger Delta Avengers. But no doubt at all, Penina, that we are beginning to see an increased military presence in the Niger Delta, and that that exchange of gunfire yesterday might probably be a sign of what is to come, especially as both sides, the Niger Delta Avengers now. They've continued to maintain that they are not willing to talk with the government and that all they want is independence for that region. Yeah,
but we also know, Deji, that President Buhari wants to talk to communities in the Niger Delta. So when are those talks due to begin? Is there time frame yet?
Well, as a matter of fact, they've started the talks. The fact is that the government is talking with a group of ex-militants because fact is, nobody can pointedly say, look, these guys are Niger Delta Avengers. Nobody actually knows them because they've actually not come out to, openly identify themselves. But what the government has been doing is holding talks with ex-militants because the suspicion is that some of these ex-militants actually may have a hand in what is going on now. Now, there was... of course, the man who heads the amnesty program here in Nigeria, he's from the Niger Delta. He met with a group of ex-militant yesterday, and they reached an agreement that they were willing to work with the government and giving the assurance that we might begin to see, that we might see a stop to the attacks on oil installation. But fact is that the Niger Delta Avengers has come out to disown those talks, to say it is not part of it and that it is not willing to talk with the government. But then, as Kelechi mentioned in her piece, the government is adopting a stick and carrot approach while it is maintaining a huge presence in the Niger Delta, and we're beginning to see some kind of exchange of gunfire. It is still engaging those who are willing to talk in talks, and President Buhari has made it clear that he is willing to talk with them, but that if some of them actually want to test the resolve of the government, that the government is willing to go all out with them. So it's a two-way street, so to speak. Talks going on one hand, and we're seeing military activity on another hand, Penina.
All right, Deji Badmas in Lagos. Many thanks, Deji.